Welcome to Real Talk with Reginald D. I'm your host, Reginald D. On today's episode, I have Rob Renee. Rob is a frequency specialist, keynote speaker, herbalist, and the host of I Am Pain Free podcast. Rob is also a former athlete whose life changed in an instant after a near-fatal accident. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Hey, it's awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you. Looking forward to it. So,
It's going to be a
Rob,
lot of fun.
tell us a little bit about your childhood and where you grew up.
Sounds good. So I grew up in a small town in southeast Idaho. It's called Pocatello, a little small town back then, or, still is a small town. But yeah, I was a young athlete when I grew up. I loved all types of sports, and running became a big passion of mine when I was a young one.
Yeah, so you were a gifted athlete and you had dreams of becoming a professional runner. How
Yeah.
did that near fatal accident redefine not just your career, but your identity?
Yeah, it really changed just a lot because, man, I had been working for 10 years for that path. I was doing really, really well. Just like God gave me the gift for running. I did all different types of sports, but running was just one of the things that was extra gifted at. And one of the things that was important to my story is I read a book called Eat to Win. And that book was really important to me because as a young athlete, I learned how to fuel my body based upon what I was eating, right? And that came back to be really, really important later on in my life. But it really helped me understand that, geez, what you put in your mouth literally becomes you and fuels you. But, I was, got a full ride running scholarship to a Division I school, and I made the U.S. junior team. So I was the second best miler in the country at the time, and my goal was to be, make the Olympic team and represent the United States of America, right? And I literally thought that's what my career was going to be, was to make money running, which back then it was, 20 some years ago now, that there weren't a lot of people making money running, but there were some, and I was going to be one of those. And then I had just won a really large race where I beat the best athletes from 5 different countries, and I won the race, beat the guy who beat me at our national race, and I was at the top of my game. And later on that next couple of months after that race, I was out in the winter training in Utah, and I was out on a whole 10-mile run with my running partner, and all of a sudden my running partner yells my name and he jumps in the ditch, and I turn around and I just see this 4x4 truck sliding right towards me, and I had nowhere to go. I just said, I'm gonna get hit, I'm gonna get hit. And it hit me in the hips and threw me 36 feet, and I landed straight on my face and then my knees. And that I'm just really, really lucky to be alive from that event. It was really traumatic and really, scary thing. I actually had my throat got clogged. I was unconscious on the side of the road, freezing cold, and my throat was clogged. So I literally wasn't breathing. And so if it wasn't for my friend realizing I wasn't breathing and unclogging my throat with his finger, I would have passed away. Took the paramedics, 12 minutes to get there, and you can't survive 12 minutes without oxygen, right? So it's pretty crazy, life-changing incident, and it really redefined who I was as a person after that, right? It's like, because that was all my goal. Everything I'd been doing for 10 years was towards that goal. And then when that accident did happen, the only thing that was not the only thing, but one of the things that I really remember from that period was I knew God had a plan for my life because he saved me, right? There was some reason why I'm still here. I did not die that day. And even though there are lots of reasons why I could have died, I didn't. And so I'm like, there's some reason why he's got me here. But I had at least was lucky enough to have an older brother who helped me understand how important school was. So I ended up getting my degree, my collegiate degree, and went into the corporate world. I kind of did what the world tells you to do. But it did have a dramatic effect on my identity, which was I believe, one of your original questions toward that.
Yeah, and I really think, that a lot of people need to understand that part of life. That
Yeah.
you could have a direction you're going, a dream you're trying to chase, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes it shifts,
Yeah.
whatever
Yep.
reason. But the bigger picture is, you know, you could have been dead, like you said, but you wasn't. And that let you know that God had a plan for your life. And that's what people need to understand.
Yeah,
Out of hardship and out of the circumstance they go through, you stay here, man. God got a plan.
I know. It's been pretty crazy, and so, as my story goes on and the other things that have happened in my life, I've had, what I call the second truck that really had a similar impact as the first one did, and literally not more than a few months ago, had another incident where I literally almost died, and it's just like and I'm still here. And for a fact, I know that God has me here still. And my whole life has been changed from chasing in the corporate world. After my first accident, I went into the corporate world and I had a corporate career, and the corporate career was great. I was making a lot of money. I was climbing the corporate ladder and I was being very successful at what I was doing, but it was all for me. It was all for how can I get a better house? How can I get a better, neighborhood for my kids to go to better schools? And it was just all about what I could do and what was going to be better for me. And it wasn't for anybody else. And I think, I learned a lot of good lessons, but then, the second truck hit me and it had a really similar impact as the first truck did, right? The first truck, I'm on my way from a running perspective and life is going great. And then boom, it gets switched in a second. The second one happened and it was really similar. I was on my corporate career. My corporate career was going great. And then boom, the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, that really is what I call my second truck, because I ended up losing my sales job because I was a travel sales guy and I couldn't travel during that period of time. And so they downsized the sales team. And I was like, well, first time in my last 20 years that I haven't been working. And it was my first time really kind of looking at what's going on in the world. And I was doing a lot of research on health and a lot of research on actually the Bible at that time, which was an interesting story just because I had been a Christian my entire life, but I'd never really done anything with my faith. And so that was the first time in my life where I was really, from a health perspective, I was like, how do I keep my family safe? Right? I want to make sure we get through this scary period. And so I just started doing all this research on health and all natural health. And I leaned back on my understanding from when I was an athlete and how to take care of the body and nutrition. I leaned a lot on nutrition, and that's what really woke me up as I was doing research on all the natural health ingredients to keep you healthy. And I saw the vilification of this doctor. They were suing this doctor for billions of dollars, and he was just recommending vitamin D. And I'm like, okay, vitamin D, is that bad? Maybe it is really bad. Let me go research. So I did a bunch of research on vitamin D, and vitamin D is totally natural and safe. So I'm like, that probably is not why they're suing him for billions of dollars. So I said, maybe he just got tons of skeletons in his closet and he's a really bad dude. So I did research on him and I couldn't find any skeletons. It was like he was an all natural health doctor helping people with natural solutions and giving people natural remedies. And I was like, well, I don't see anything wrong. So I'm like, why would they sue him for billions of dollars? Why? And as I started researching that, that's where I really uncovered a lot of just what I call corruption in our healthcare system. And really, our healthcare system was really captured in the early 1900s and taken over. And so, right, if you look at the motivation for our healthcare system, it's all about money now. It's not taking care of people and helping people get better. It's more how can the system make more money and can extract more business out of the patients. And it's just the wrong motivation. Our healthcare system has really, unfortunately, been compromised from my opinion, right? My perspective on the healthcare world. Like there's a lot of amazing doctors, a lot of amazing nurses, et cetera, in the healthcare world. So I don't want to put them in that same camp, but big pharma and our healthcare system itself it's just set up in a really bad way. So that's why our healthcare system in the United States is, we are the most advanced country in the world, right? And we don't have the most advanced healthcare system in the world, right? We're really, really poor from that perspective. So we're not really helping people at the core, helping them manage what the core issue is. We're just managing symptoms, and they're more interested in making money than they are healing people. And so
Right.
that was a huge eye-opening and awakening experience for me, was that second truck.
Right. So let me ask you this, Rob. As you research the medical and pharmaceutical industries, what discovery shocked you the most and forced you to question everything you were taught?
Yeah, that's an awesome question, because one of the biggest things that shocked me was reading the details about the Flexner report. So there's a report that happened in the early 1900s, I think in 1910 or something like that. The Rockefellers hired this gentleman his last name was Flexner, and he ended up creating this report called the Flexner Report. And the report itself wasn't that bad, but how they used that report was really bad. They used it to really take over our medical schools back then. So our medical schools were taken over by the Rockefellers, and they only taught pharmaceutical-based medications. And then they used that report also to vilify all the holistic and natural practitioners. And so they vilified everything natural and holistic, and they only taught pharmaceutical-based solutions. So the pharmaceutical-based solutions were basically the only reason they not the reason, but the bad thing about that is the reason why they did that was they could patent those formulas because they were based upon the oil industry, and the pharmaceutical industry, had to use the pills, right? And the pills were oil based. And so, to make a really long, complicated story short, is they used the Flexner report to really take over our medical schools. And when they took over the medical schools, you couldn't get a job in the health arena unless you went into the American medical schools. And they vilified all natural health practitioners at the same time. And then they only taught pharmaceutical based medication. They didn't teach all natural health in the medical schools. And in fact, even as of less than the last year, when you go to medical school, you take 12 years of medical school, and you may have one semester on nutrition, right? In a 12-year education system. So it's like they're not training our doctors and nurses on how God designed this incredible temple of ours and this body of ours and how it operates. And so anyway, they've just that whole thing blew me away. I'm like, how is that possible that they could take over our medical schools like that, and how they could vilify all natural health practitioners? That really frustrated me. And the more I learned about it, and then I started with all the research I was doing, I could see how they were using these things really as nefarious in really bad ways. And the motivation wasn't to help people and to cure people. The motivation was to how can they make more money. And so you look at the vaccines, and you look at just a lot of the drugs that are created. The drugs are there; they're not to actually heal people, which is pretty scary. So that was probably the thing that opened my eyes most, was that. And then as you start digging in and researching the details behind that and what has happened since then, it just becomes really, really super frustrating. I'm just so excited about the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again movement, because I think we're making some huge progress in our healthcare system. And I think the motivations are right. That's like they came out with the new food pyramid, right? Just in the last few weeks. And the food pyramid is finally right. It's like our food pyramid was totally upside down for decades. And it was just really, really bad. What they were teaching us as when, you and I grew up was just totally wrong. Right? It's just high carbohydrates and low fats, and the things that they were teaching us that was healthy was totally not healthy for the human body. And so anyway, and it's awesome that the truth is finally coming out and people are really waking up to that issue. Our healthcare system has been compromised, and the big pharmaceutical companies are there to make a profit, and they're not there to help people. And I think it took COVID and that whole pandemic for people to start questioning the authorities when they're saying, hey, you have to distance yourself 6 feet from other people. You have to take the shot. You have to do this and you have to do that. And then now we see how corrupt those decisions were and how wrong those decisions were. And people are finally waking up saying, maybe what they're teaching us or they're recommending to us is not what we should do. So I think it's been awesome from that perspective, is that a lot of people are waking up to, hey, I need to start taking control of my health instead of going to a doctor and saying, hey, just give me a pill, and then that one pill is going to fix my ill. That's what we were all kind of trained to do when we grew up. We're just like, you got to go to the white coat. The white coat's going to give you a pill and you're going to be all better. That's the way I grew up. And so now it's really good that people are starting to look at, say, hey, you control of your health, not your doctor. Your doctor's not control of your health. The doctor's very narrow focused on you, but then he's got a whole host of other patients and he only has 15 minutes maybe with you. So he has no idea how to understand your background and your history, and they aren't looking at you holistically, right? They're saying, what's the symptom you have now? And then how can they help you with whatever you have? And they'll give you a pill for that. But as I was doing research on the solutions that I was creating, because I'm like, how can I help the world? And I didn't know what to do, but I figured I would try to create some solutions. And as I was researching those, one of the things that frustrated me most was finding out that our seniors, the average senior takes 15 different prescription medications in a year period. And every single prescription medication has a side effect. It's just, you listen to those commercials on TV, right? And the last 30 seconds, they're just like, oh, you could die, you could lose a limb, you could, they go on and on and on of all the side effects that they have. So every drug has a side effect. So you start taking that drug and it has a side effect, causes something else. Then you go see another specialist. And that other specialist says, oh, well, I have another pill for you. So that'll help you with that. So you're taking a second pill. And then, literally the average senior's taking 15 of them. And it's just, it's tragic that we're medicating our seniors in such a fashion where, man, the more research I did and all the stuff that I've been doing since, it's like, man, if you take care of this temple and you really do a good job of taking care of this temple, God designed it so cool that it will heal itself if you give it the right setup. And so that's been
Right.
really fascinating for me, is to research all of that and to say, how can I help, people? And I believe that's why he has me still here on this earth, is to help people with their health and then help them with their faith through their health. So that's what I'm super
Right.
passionate about.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm going to jump into this. You studied healing herbs and superfoods found in the Bible.
Yes.
What
Yes.
are a few that stand out, and why do you believe this ancient wisdom still matters today? Because I
Yeah, I
believe it.
think it's just super important because as I was doing that research on the healthcare industry and my eyes were opening it up, it really frustrated me with how our world was set and what was going on. And I had never done research on the Bible. And so I started doing research in the Bible. I'm like, okay, I think this is true, but I don't know. Right. So I was like, is the Bible accurate? So I did a whole textual criticism analysis. I did prophetic analysis of the Bible, and then even archaeological evidence of the Bible. Man, that thing is so authentic. It's like the most incredible document ever produced, and the most authentic document ever produced. And so I'm like, okay, if it's that accurate and that authentic, then maybe I should read it. So I actually read the Bible. Now I've done it a number of times. I've listened to it a number of times. I study it every day. And that's what got me excited about the natural herbs and superfoods in the Bible. I'm like, hey, God designed this temple of ours, and we only have one of them, so we need to take care of it. So I'm like, what did he say about health? So I did the whole research on what God, had put in the Bible with related to food and related to health. And there's lots of herbs and superfoods in the Bible, and it's just fascinating. So I was praying, I was researching, saying, how can I help the world? Maybe there's something in the Bible that people maybe haven't discovered yet. And so I was researching all of the ingredients, and then the Lord led me to a gentleman who was working on molecular hydrogen. So I'll get to the answer to your question now. Is one of the elements that's not specifically mentioned in the Bible, but it's the base element that God created, hydrogen, right? It's like in the periodic table, hydrogen is the smallest element that God did make. And then when I was researching how molecular hydrogen can help the body, I was like, this is fascinating because it can do so many good things inside your bloodstream. And I had already been doing the research on all the biblical ingredients. So we took the best 7 biblical ingredients and added them to this molecular hydrogen blend and created this product, right? We created this product called Exodus. It's just an amazing, amazing supplement because it's got these 7 biblical herbs and then this molecular hydrogen blend that just really acts as a master antioxidant inside the bloodstream. So it really helps clear out the bad stuff in your bloodstream, as well as the 7 biblical herbs are super cool. The ones that we use are organic barley grass and organic wheatgrass. Those give you the nutrients that you're missing in today's food supply. Most people are not getting the right nutrients that they need, and your body needs 96 nutrients a day, and most people aren't getting them in our food. So organic barley grass and wheatgrass help you with a lot of the nutrients, but it also oxygenates the body, right? And so, cancer and other bad things can't survive in an oxygenated environment. So getting really good oxygen in the bloodstream is important. So those were 2, organic barley grass and organic wheatgrass. And then we added saffron. Saffron's really awesome because saffron, it's like super expensive. It's actually more expensive than gold, which is surprising. But saffron is great for clarity as well as mood. So it's actually clinically proven to help people with things like stress and anxiety. And so that's been an awesome part of the product. And then the other ones are aloe. Aloe's got hundreds of health benefits to it. It's really good for gut health. In that podcast that you mentioned, my podcast, I interview holistic practitioners all the time. And the holistic practitioners say that your health really starts in your gut. If you can get your gut healthy, then your other organs start working effectively. They will start working the way they're supposed to work. And aloe is just a great gut health component. So that's been really important. And then the other thing that they've told me was that all disease starts with inflammation. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's not good. So inflammation is bad. And the great thing that we put into Exodus was cumin, frankincense, and myrrh. And the combination of cumin, frankincense, and myrrh really helped with that inflammation response. So the inflammation could potentially be reduced, right, with our product. And then if you're reducing inflammation, then you're reducing the chance of potential disease. So, and then you look at the molecular hydrogen component, like I mentioned, the antioxidant piece of that. And that's where it gets fascinating when you do research on what does that mean. And these are terms that I didn't really understand early on, but the more research I've done on hydrogen and molecular hydrogen specifically, it's really cool because molecular hydrogen acts as a selective antioxidant. And you're like, okay, what does that mean? An antioxidant is something it'll clear out your bloodstream. But the bad thing is an antioxidant can take the good stuff out as well. And so the neat thing about molecular hydrogen is it acts as a selective antioxidant. So it goes and literally finds the bad cells in the body. Everybody has them, right? We all have cancer cells in our body, and they're dead cells. They're called sentient cells inside your bloodstream. And the molecular hydrogen seeks those out and attaches it to them and extracts them from your bloodstream. So that's really cool. And then your mitochondrial process, which is kind of your energy system that creates ATP in the human body, it helps the mitochondrial process work more efficiently. So it helps the good and it gets rid of the bad. So that's why molecular hydrogen inside your bloodstream is so important. And so we took those 7 biblical herbs and superfoods, and why I'm so passionate about them is because of how God designed this incredible temple of ours. It's like if you give it the right nutrients and give it the right setup, God designed our body so incredible it heals itself. Like our product's not healing anybody, right? And a doctor isn't healing you. Your body heals itself. We just need to give it the right, makeup, and when we give it the right setup, your body does what God designed it to do. So, which is heal. So that's been fascinating.
Yeah, and
It's a
that's
long answer to your question. Sorry about
oh
that.
no, it's all good. It's all good, Rob. Yeah, like I say, I think the body is designed to heal itself.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, if you fall and scrape your knee, and
Is
then
there
there's a scab that comes over it and covers it, while it's healing.
Yep.
Once it heal, it fall off on its own.
Exactly.
You have to do
Exactly.
anything,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
so
literally, that's the way God designed our bodies, right? It's like it's all natural. That's the way He designed it. So you think about that in all of your organs, it does the same thing. So the trick is to say, how do we help it, right? How do we give it what it needs in order to do what it does best, right? So your immune system, how do we get your immune system operating the way it's supposed to? And if you can get it the right setup, right, you can get it the right hydration, you get it the right nutrients, and you get your body what it needs, then man, it does a really efficient job of healing itself. And you can reverse all sorts of chronic issues and chronic disease by just doing simple things like diet, right? And like exercise and like hydration. And those are the things that I'm having a blast teaching people is like, man, if you just do these, I have 7 things I like to tell people to do. Is like, these are simple, they're free, do them, right? If you do these 7 things, and guess what? Your body's going to start liking it and you're going to start feeling better. And then it gets really, really exciting. I love biohacking, right? I love doing all natural things that can help with my biology and help me do better. So I love cold plunging and all these biohacking tricks. But, before you start biohacking, I was like, hey, just do the basics. If you just do the basics, then guess what? Your body starts, doing better. And then you get excited because you're like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. This stuff's working. So I have a lot of fun talking to people about those.
right. Because you talk about exiting the old you.
Yeah.
What does that practically look like for someone listening who feels stuck in pain physically, emotionally, and spiritually?
Yeah, it's so simple that because you literally can't there's a lot of people that are stuck right there. And we can help them exit that old you, right? That's stuck in a rut, that is in pain or is in this just bad place. We can help you naturally get to where you want to go and exit that old you and into how God designed you, right? Give you back your temple. And when your temple starts working the way that He designed it, it gets so much fun because you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I could feel this good, and it's really, really fun. So the 7 things I like to tell people, I'll do them really quick. That's just the first one is hydration, right? You need to actually have I'm about 200 pounds, and so I need about 100 ounces of water every day. Most people are dehydrated. They're just not drinking enough water. So drink water, right? And drink, if you can, drink filtered water because the water from our tap has been pretty contaminated. So drink filtered water and that's good. Then the next 3 are pretty simple. It's outside. You wanna go out and get that vitamin D thing. That thing that I learned about the healthcare system was, vitamin D is very, very good for your body. And the first 45 minutes of the day, it's called blue light. If you can get that blue light on your skin, it's very, very healthy. There's no UV rays at all, in that first 45 minutes. And then I combine when I go outside and get some of that vitamin D, I also take off my shoes and get my feet on the ground. And God's given earth is it's called grounding or earthing. And it literally discharges the negative energy in your body and refills your body with the positive energy from the ground. And I thought it was silly. I thought it was dumb science. But the more I researched it, it's absolutely critical and it's real, right? So God designed it that way. And if you think about it, when we were kids, we had our shoes off and we're on the grass playing outside a lot. And man, as you get older, you don't do that. And so you're not getting that grounding effect. So I can sell you a $5,000 grounding mat, that helps you ground, or you just go out for free, take your socks and shoes off, and there's your grounding mat, right? So when you go outside, you get that vitamin D, take your socks and shoes off, and you get on the ground. And then you do the third one is just breathing techniques. This one blew me away when I was researching these breathing techniques. You can literally add 7 years to your life by just doing these breathing techniques. There's a gentleman called Wim Hof, Wimhoff, and he's kind of famous for doing different types of breathing techniques. There's all different types of them that you can do, but he teaches you this like 7-minute scenario where you breathe in and you hold and then you exhale in a specific pattern over a 7-minute period, and it just brings a lot of oxygen into the body. In fact, when you're first learning, he wants you to sit down because you get so much oxygen in the body that sometimes you pass out because your body's not used to having that much oxygen in your body. But so anyway, while I'm outside, I do those 3 things. I ground, I get some vitamin D, and I do these breathing techniques, and you combine it with the water, and there's 4 out of your 7, right? You're almost done, right? And all you had to do was just drink some water in the morning, and you go outside and get a little vitamin D, you get your shoes off, and you do some breathing techniques. Relatively simple, and you've already nailed 4 of them, right? So that's pretty cool. Then the other 3 are, one is just nutrition, right? You do need to have the right nutrients. You need 96 nutrients throughout the day. So make sure you look at what your nutrients you're getting and try to get as many of those 96 nutrients as you can. And so that's important. And then movement, right? Movement is the next, right? So we have to move or if you sit, your body's stagnant, and God didn't design your body to just sit there all day. So having that movement is, and it's also free. You can go walk, right? And everybody can walk, or most people can walk. So go walk. And if you can't walk and you just have arm movement, you can still do that, right? There's lots of different things you can do. So there's the 6 right there. And then I always start my day off with gratitude and prayer. I think gratitude and prayer are a very, very important part of the beginning of your day. When you have gratitude towards other things and you think positively, it's amazing how important your mind is to your health. Your mind is very, very important. It can literally control your body. And so if you set your day up right with a little bit of prayer and a little bit of gratitude in the morning, then everything else starts lining up. And man, you do those 7 and you're going to start feeling better. And even if you only do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of those, you'll start doing them. And then, man, it starts adding up over the days and weeks. And man, your body starts feeling really good. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is really making a big difference. And my goal is to get people off of the couch and out being a healthy, productive member of society. So in the morning, when I'm doing my gratitude and prayer in all of our products, when we sell a product like our Exodus supplement, we have this prayer guide that goes with it. Let me see if this is it. We have a little prayer guide. This prayer guide has specific intention, a prayer, and a Bible verse that we want you to say every day, because you're actually using your mouth to declare it, your eyes to read it, and your ears to hear yourself saying it. And then you're using multiple senses that God gave you to help you with your health. And so we believe that whole mind, body, spirit connection is really, really important to people, your health. So we highly recommend that. So there's
That,
my 7 free things you can do that really have a major impact on your health. So,
that's awesome. So, Rob, I have what I call quick fire questions.
okay, sounds good.
There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just
All
going to
right.
throw it out there. What's one belief you had to unlearn to step into your calling?
Oh, man. To unlearn that I was in control, because I'm not in control. I thought that I was in control, and I had to give up myself to have a great relationship with the Lord, and now He's in control. So that
Absolutely.
would be the answer to that.
Absolutely. I feel the same way, man. I feel the same way. So, what is one biblical herb or natural remedy everyone should know about?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with aloe, right? Just because aloe, all of the ingredients like in our product, and there's lots of other really amazing ingredients that aren't in our product that are very helpful. But aloe is just such. There's literally hundreds of benefits of the product. So it's like they have the skincare one where you can put aloe on a scratch and it'll heal faster. That's great, right? But then you can also take aloe internally, and aloe will help your gut and your gut health and immune system. And then you can go on and on and on and on. So I'm gonna just say aloe just because it's so functional.
Okay. One word that defines this current season of your life.
Oh man, it's for sure faith. Literally, my word for the year is faith, and I am being faithful to Him and to just my calling because it's like everything I've learned that this life isn't up to me, and it's like I literally am trying to intentionally be faithful in my work that I do, in my relationships, in every part of my life. It's all about being faithful to the calling that He's given me, and yeah, so that's for sure the word.
Yes, sir. Pain free living, is it more physical, spiritual, or mental?
All 3. I'm not gonna say one or the other because it's so important to have all 3, right? Your mind is super duper powerful, but the physical is super important. You need to take care of this temple. We only have one. And so it's really important to take care of this temple. So it's really a combined, you got to combine all of them. The mind, body, and spirit are very, very important. Your mind is very important. Your body is very important. And then your spiritual relationship with your father is very, very important. So you got to have all 3.
Yes, exactly. And I always say sometimes, tell people sometimes, say, man, people get these nice cars and they'll take care of these cars more than they take care of their own self.
That's wrong, yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%,
And you
and
die and then the
I
car's still
was
sitting in
just
the
as
driveway.
bad as many people. I was addicted to alcohol for 25 years of my life, right? And it was like a horrible it was just a habit, and I was very highly functional alcoholic. I still was in my career, I was doing great, but it was just one of those things. I had this thing where I was like, "Oh, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, I better have a drink," right? And it just I wasn't taking care of my body, and man, I'm so frustrated that I did that for so long, but now I've been 8 years sober, and I'm just so excited because it's helping my body so much by not having that. And then I've learned so much about how the body works. And it's like, oh my gosh, I was treating my body so poorly. And if you treat this temple well, man, it can reverse a lot of the things that can be reversed. And it can really, elongate your life just by taking care of this bad boy. So
That's it. That's it. So lastly, Rob, where can people learn more about Exodus Strong, listen to I Am Pain Free podcast, and begin their own journey toward natural healing and faith-based wellness?
Yeah, it's so exciting. ExodusStrong.com is the website where literally I'm writing a book called The Light Code. And the light code talks about the 4 pillars of things that the Lord has taught me about. One of them is red light therapy. It's light, right? Light is super important. And then the second one is frequencies. I've done a lot of frequency research in medicine and how you can have frequencies that help the human body And then the fuel one, which is the Exodus product and the molecular hydrogen component of it. And then the faith pillar. Those four, the light, frequency, fuel, and faith pillars are what make up the light code. And the whole light code system is available at exodusstrong.com. Then I've built a community called Biohackingville, and I'm renaming my podcast from the I Am Pain Free podcast to the Biohackingville podcast, because it's really all about how can you take care of this temple of ours, and then what biohacking things can you do. And then I obviously integrate faith as a part of that. So there's a Biohackingville community you can go to and have a newsletter there. And then we have all of our products within the exodusstrong.com, website. But if you want to just hang out with me or, ask me questions, I have a lot of resources on all natural health, on integrative oncology. So cancer care is very, very important to me. I have a lot of resources on red light therapy and why would you want to do one versus the other, and have lots of data on different remedies and therapies that you can use, all in Biohackingville.
There you have it. There you have it. Sounds good. Rob Renee, thank you so much for coming on the show. Man, that was very eye-opening.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I love sharing what I'm passionate about, because I believe that's why God still has me on this earth. If I can help one person today, if they listen to that and they make a small change to their daily life and it helps them in one small fashion, then, I've done my job. So at the end of the day, I want to have him say, "Well done, good and faithful servant," when I see him.
That's it. When it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rob.
God bless you. Really nice to meet you.
All right. God bless you too. Thanks for listening to Real Talk with Reginald D. If you enjoyed listening to Real Talk with Reginald D, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. See you next time.